Hi people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new recent reads video. These books are mainly the books that I finished February with and started March with, so without any further ado, the first book on this list is called Tender Beasts. This story is a YA supernatural thriller contemporary that follows a young black main character who is determined to clear her brother's name after a gruesome murder happens at her school. Honestly, I was so excited to read this book, and it was on my February TBR. I believe I said in that video that I was really hoping that that this book wouldn't be paranormal, but I think that I would have preferred, honestly, this book to be paranormal than being, supernatural. I don't know if that makes any sense, but basically as the mystery was unraveling, it became more disturbing than thrilling. And this book honestly reminded me way more of, The Forest Demands Its Due than Their Vicious Games, which is what I wanted. I don't know if any of that makes any sense, but basically, the plot was engaging in the beginning. I was intrigued by, the family dynamics and the characters and, the world building almost. But, as the mystery was being unraveled, like I said, it became more disturbing than thrilling. So my interest and my like for this book kind of petered out, if that makes any sense. So, overall, I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars, so take that as you will. The next book on this list is called Unstuck. This story is a middle grade contemporary following a young main character who has writer's block. And also, on the cover, she has purple hair for some reason, but in the story, she's a brunette. But anyway, that's besides the point. This book is absolutely so excellent, and it's so well done. First of all, being an aspiring fighter when I was the main character's age is so relatable, and also having writer's block and drifting away from your best friend. I love subplots that are about drifting away from your best friend or the main plot or whatever, because that is something that I find so incredibly relatable, because I experienced that not only in middle school but also in high school and also kind of in college too. But anyway, the point is, I really enjoy this book literally so much. The plot is so engaging and so intriguing. I loved the main character's relationship with her sister and her parents and her friends, and her relationship with writing too. This book is so good. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. The plot is so engaging and so intriguing. This author has such a great reputation, and I knew that I would enjoy this book literally so much. So anyway, with that said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Compass and Blade. This story is a YA fantasy that follows a young main character who has 9 days to save her father, so she goes on a quest that's related to family secrets. I did really enjoy this book, and I did rate it 4 stars. However, I will say that my enjoyment of this book reminds me of my enjoyment of Daughter of the Pirate King and To Kill a Kingdom and other white straight fantasies. You know what I mean? Nothing's wrong with white straight fantasies. It's just that within this story in particular, specifically, for me, I did really enjoy it. It's just that it wasn't as immersive as other more diverse fantasies, in the sense that certain storylines or parts of certain storylines were more predictable. You know what I mean? But anyway, the world building was excellent, and it was good, and it was well paced. The romance was cute. The characters are well developed and distinct. If this series continues, I'm not sure if I'm really interested enough to continue the series, but I did really enjoy it, and it was nice, and it was clean, and it was clean cut. And it's a nice, strong, solid YA fantasy. You know what I mean? It's just that it could have been better, and it wasn't. So anyway, overall, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would recommend it. The next book on this list is called Galaxy the Prettiest Star. This story is a YA urban fantasy graphic novel that follows a young princess who's disguising herself as a teenage boy. And if you're curious if this story is a trans allegory, I absolutely think that it is. This book is so excellent, and it's so well done. First of all, the illustrations are absolutely so vibrant and so pretty. The plot is so engaging and so intriguing. The sapphic romance is so cute, and it's so awesome, and I absolutely loved it so much. The queer representation is absolutely excellent. I just really enjoy this book so much. In fact, my enjoyment of this book reminded me of my enjoyment of Nimona, which is truly one of my favorite animated movies of all time. Not just for the animation, but also for the story itself. But anyway, the point is, if you haven't seen Nimona, please go watch it. It's so good. Anyway, the point is, this book is absolutely so fantastic and it's so good. Everything about it felt so well done and so, like, realistic and relevant and so important. So anyway, with all that said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars and I would highly, highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called Pearl of the Sea. This story is a YA contemporary fantasy graphic novel that follows a young sapphic South African main character as she is determined to save this ancient sea monster. If there's one thing about me, it's that I love fantasies that are related to, like, the ocean and ocean animals. In another life, I think that I would have been a marine biologist, just because marine biology was absolutely my favorite science that I ever studied in high school. Like, it's so fascinating. I just love ocean animals. They're much more fascinating than land animals. But anyway, I digress. The illustrations in this book are absolutely so fascinating, just so good and so pretty. The story itself is absolutely so awesome. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. The plot is so engaging. My enjoyment of this book reminded me of my enjoyment of The Sea Beast, which is another underrated Netflix film that I think that everyone should watch because it's so good. The world building is so excellent and it's so fantastic. Everything about this book was so good. I just really, really enjoyed every single second of it. Like, the plot and the mystery were so captivating and so riveting. So anyway, all that to say, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars and I would highly, highly recommend it. So in conclusion, March has started off to be a very strong reading month so far. I've said this before, but historically, March tends to be one of the reading months where I read the most. However, this year so far, I read more in February than I did in January, which typically doesn't happen, so maybe this year will be different. I don't know. But anyway, in conclusion, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the ice cream emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching and subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!